So I'm here at Money 2020 US in Vegas, and I'm joined by Shanker and Gary from IBM Consulting. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we start, would you mind spending 30 seconds to quickly introduce yourself?
Sure, indeed. I'm Shanker Ramamurthy. I'm the global managing partner for banking and financial markets in IBM Consulting. At any point in time, we probably have 30,000 consultants working with banking clients around the world, and it's a meaningful part of what we do in IBM Consulting.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Cole. I lead up our banking and financial markets here in the U.S., Senior Partner and Vice President.
Thank you so much. So since we are indeed at a fintech show, let's kick off with banking transformation. What is going on out there, and what are the latest and greatest that you hear from the banking clients?
So, banking transformation, very simply, I'd say there's kind of two big themes playing out. One is what I call front to back transformation. That's everything to do with customers and channels and ecosystems and partnerships. And the other is back to front transformation, everything to do with the middle office and the back office, and everything to do with costs and risk, right? So, banking is simply about revenue, cost, and risk, right? Revenue is around front to back transformation. Costs and risks, and all types of risks, are about back to front transformation. And in the era of exponential technology and generative AI, both front to back and back to front transformation are required for banks to accomplish and achieve their outcomes. And that's what our clients are focused on. And as I talk to them in Money 2020, it's very clear that all our clients are addressing both.
Well, risk is one of the things that seems to be a dominant theme. And I keep hearing from various colleagues that said, even with emerging technologies, we cannot lose sight of the fundamentals, the risk management. We need to make sure trust is in the center of everything that we do. So with that, I do have a question about business process transformation. So tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So AI-led BPO is business process outsourcing is a very significant part of our business at IBM Consulting and an expanding area. And as Shanker was talking about, we really look at it from automation and process improvement from the front office to the back office. So when we look at the opportunity for our clients to have profitable growth, how they drive that with efficiency, there's significant room for automation, especially in the mid office and back office. So we see a lot of interest and growth happening in the human resources side, procurement side, finance and accounting from more of the horizontal aspect. And then from a vertical point of view, we spend a lot of time with our clients around the risk and regulatory, how business process outsourcing can support that, as well as core banking and payments transformation. So it's a significant focus for us as we continue to evolve automation.
So beyond automation, let's talk about beyond banking. One of my favorite topic is what else is going on outside. And Shankar, last time when you and I talked, we touched a little bit on super app.
Yeah, indeed. So beyond banking, I talked about revenue, cost, and risk and front to back transformation. Beyond banking is about looking at the front office and recognizing that banks are increasingly getting disintermediated by the super apps around the world. Now, here in the US, on the back of 1033 and open banking regulations as well, there's tremendous need for banks to rethink the way they're interacting with their customers and use this opportunity to reposition themselves from an API, open banking, embedded finance, and going into beyond banking and super apps. Now, it's as I walk the floor here and talk to clients, everyone is talking about 1033. Everyone is talking about the amount of work they need to do to take advantage of it. On the one hand, it's an opportunity. On the other hand, it's a challenge. The challenge is if you're not taking advantage of open banking to drive more value to your customers, chances are there are over 7,000 banks in the US. Your competitor is going to pick up your client.
Very global.
Interesting times ahead.
It is interesting times ahead, but that's the fun part, right? Because you have all the data. What can we do and make use of the data? That's the future opportunities. So if I might take us a little bit step in a different direction, talking about data, talking about super app, KYC, risks.
We spend a significant amount of time talking to our clients about KYC, AML, anti-money laundering, both from an advisory point of view and especially from, again, business process controls and operational support or outsourcing. Unfortunately, there's been some news out there in the press recently as well. So our clients have continued to double down on how do you grow profitable growth while managing your risk. And so when it comes to global wealth management operations, that's where we spend a lot of time with our clients, and the end-to-end transaction flow from the receiving entities on the payment side as well. So it's become continues to be a significant growth area for us, and it also around the what we call GRC, the governance and controls process, where we do reporting. So there's a significant amount of automation that's beginning to take place, an AI-led automation about reporting, and then enhancing just the fact checking and the transaction monitoring operations. So that'll continue to be a significant growth area for us and our clients going into 2025.
So when you talk about automation, I think about operational efficiency. I think about tools that we can provide small business, small medium businesses, and how can we help them uncover opportunities. Shankar, last time when we talked, you mentioned a funding gap that exists in the SME market as part of the research. So can you tell us a little bit more?
Sure. No, it's a great question. So we recently finished a major study working with Bion, Banking Industry Architecture Network.org, and the IFC, looking really at the SME space. We talked to over 700 bankers and over 1,200 CEOs of SME enterprises around the world. Three major findings, right? The first one is the funding gap you talked about. There is a $5.7 trillion funding gap in terms of what SMEs needs and compared with what the banks are actually lending out there. Massive opportunity. Now, even when those funds are available, SMEs are paying anywhere from a 2 to 5% interest rate penalty on top of a traditional corporate. In other words, access to money is hard, but even when they get access, it's really expensive. And then the third thing that the study uncovered is there is a meaningful gap between what bankers think SMEs need and really what SMEs are actually expecting from banks. So there's a meaningful disconnect that the study highlighted. And one of those is the point we were on around super apps. Banks are providing traditional capability. SMEs are expecting something much more than what the banks are able to provide because these SMEs need a broad range of capability to achieve their business objectives. This is where the notion of beyond banking ecosystem and platform comes into its own. Compelling study, but the opportunities are real. $5.7 trillion, 2 to 5% funding gap, and the SMEs crying out for more than what banks are providing today. Exciting times.
It is exciting time. So if I might, before we wrap up, what do you look forward to?
For me, generative AI is changing the landscape. And in a banking context, it's going to invert the banking pyramid. If today, two-thirds of the people process technology and investment is in the middle and back office and about a third in customers, tomorrow's banking model is going to flip that upside down. Two-thirds of the focus is going to be on channels, partners, and ecosystems. And the balance, a third, is going to be focused on radical simplification of the middle and back office, leveraging exponential technologies like generative AI to digitize it. So the world of tomorrow is going to be, let me start with a model that's entirely digital, and then I'll have humans in the loop for exception and processing and value addition, as opposed to today's model. Truly, I've been in consulting 30 years. The next 3 to 5 years are going to be more exciting than anything I've seen in the last 30 years. I'm looking forward to it.
So fasten
Thank
your
you.
seatbelts, Gary.
Yes, fasten your seatbelt.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
both
you.
of you for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.